Hey, what's up guys? It's Skytoon Meebo Gaming here, and today I have a very special video for you guys. So I'm involved in a Discord group called the NTD Phantoms, shout out to you guys, and they had this brilliant idea that I should make a video showcasing my top games of every year for the decade. So I thought that is a great idea, and that's what we're going to be doing today. Oh, and one more thing before this video begins. Be sure when you finish the video, and after you leave a like and all that, to be sure and let me know down in the comments below what games of the decade are your favorite from 2010 to 2019. I want to know your thoughts, your opinions, all that. Let me know everything in the comments below. Starting this off strong, 2010, we got Epic Mickey. And I'm gonna say all of the reasons too of why I picked my choices that I did. So, Epic Mickey, I would have to say, is my favorite game of 2010 because my cousin is the one that actually had the game before me. And I remember I was over at his house and he was like, hey, check out this game, it's on the Wii, and really, you just control Mickey Mouse. And I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. There's a whole game with Mickey? So I tried it out at his house. I kind of got used to the controls, but I thought, hey, I want to get that for myself and try it out. So I ended up getting the game, and I loved it. I loved the fact that you could use paint and thinner. Paint was obviously what you used to paint things, and thinner was what you used to like erase things. And it was such a cool story. There was action right from the start. You started just destroying enemies, and the concept of like having the power of the paintbrush, that was their kind of slogan. I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. I mean, Mickey Mouse got his heart ripped out of his chest at the beginning of the game. Who does that? But just the whole story of this like a dark fantasy land and being able to save the day at the end, and it was an amazing game. So that is going to be my pick for 2010. And, thank you so much to my cousin for introducing me to that game, or else that would have never been on the list. Next up is a very obvious one. Look behind me. So, as you can see, these are Skylanders. Now, Skylanders has been my life forever. I'm a huge collector, as you can see, and it all started off in 2011. Which brings me to the fact that Skylanders Spyro's Adventure is my pick for that year. It all started off with the Wii starter pack, and in that came the game, the poster, the Portal of Power, which is the coolest thing ever, and then 3 Skylanders, which were Spyro, Trigger Happy, and Gilgrunt. Just the concept of toys to life was new at the time. Skylanders completely dominated. You had this portal, and you put a figure on the portal, and it just came to life on your TV. It was revolutionary. I remember getting that starter pack, and I instantly started playing. There was obviously more characters on the poster, and I was like, we gotta try to finish this poster. So we ended up finishing it, getting all the Skylanders on there from that game, not including like variants or stuff like that, but all of the ones on the poster I did get. And then after that, the rest of the 5 games came out, and here we are now. I have never stopped collecting, and if you're wondering if I'll ever stop being a Skylander fan, that would be a negative. So yeah, Skylanders Spyro's Adventure is my pick for 2011. Next up on the list is Nintendo Land. So this is a game that was actually bundled with the Wii U when the Wii U released. And I remember Nintendo Land had all of these mini games that you can go to throughout the world, and my friends and I loved it. There were 2 different mini games in particular that we loved the most. One of them was Mario Chase, where 4 people played as Toads, and the person on the gamepad was Mario, and pretty much you just had to catch Mario, and that's the game. And the second mini game that we were crazy about was Metroid Blast, which I totally remember this like it was yesterday. One person was in the, I should know the name of this, but kind of the flying pod, and you would battle Ridley, who was ginormous in the stage. But it was the coolest thing, because the person in the kind of flying car sort of thing would fly around, and you could be the Mii shooter in a Samus costume. You could hang from the flying car and shoot the enemies while in like almost midair. It was the coolest experience ever. And then of course there's all those other mini games, and Nintendo was definitely thinking when they bundled that with the Wii U, for sure. So that is why Nintendo Land would be my pick for 2012. 2013, if you didn't know this already, was the year of Luigi, or so it says on the game's packaging. My choice for 2013 is New Super Luigi U. So why I chose that game is it was obviously the other version of New Super Mario Bros. U. Yes, it was about the same game, but there were some different parts to it. The levels, I think, were possibly a bit different. I really don't remember it perfectly, but I do know that's where you got to play as Nabbit, who was the purple rabbit who was pretty much invincible. It was kind of a different take on the normal like Mario game, because Luigi was the star of the show, because he got the whole year dedicated to him. But I remember it being a pretty fun game. I'm pretty sure if you tapped on the Wii U gamepad, blocks would appear, so if you had friends over, they could help you out with all that and get through the levels with you, and with Nabbit you always won. So that's probably why we ended up having such a great time. So yeah, New Super Luigi U for my 2013 pick. 2014, without a doubt, is Skylanders Trap Team. Now, I know I already had Skylanders on the list, and you're probably thinking,
oh, Skytoon, why are you putting like the same game twice?
Well, it is definitely not the same game. Not at all. Okay, maybe a little. Not at all. Skylanders Trap Team was the 4th game in the Skylanders series, and what is so different about that game is that they started using these new things called Traptanium. Now, what Traptanium is, this is Chaos. He's very evil. Don't mess with Chaos! But the gimmick of Skylanders Trap Team was the coolest thing. You put these traps in the portal, and then the villains would magically be trapped in the trap once they got captured. It was so cool to watch the first time. I remember the villains would bang on the trap would light up every time they banged on it, and they would say, hey, let me out of here, and just talk to you from inside this toy. And it blew my mind the first time. I'm like, toys aren't supposed to talk? It was just so much fun that you were right there to defeating a villain in-game, and then you put something as small as this into a plastic circle, which was the portal, and it would capture the villain, and then they're stuck inside the trap forever. I mean, yeah, the other side of the concept is that when you put them back in the portal, then they're back into Skylands, which is the place where Skylanders live, essentially, and then they fight for you. So really, you're capturing the villains, and then you're turning them on the side of good. So that is 100% my pick for 2014. Just such a fun concept to those Skylanders games. 2015 has to be Splatoon. This is where I kind of started to follow more about what Nintendo was doing, but I didn't post any news, nothing like that. I was just, just kind of a follower. But I remember when the Splatoon trailer dropped, and I saw the Inkling swimming in the ink, and then it jumped out into this kid form, and I'm like, whoa, what was that? What did I just watch? And then it showed the 4-on-4, which we later found out was called a turf war, and those two color sides battling, and it just looked like so much fun. So I decided to get that. I loved it from the second I got it. The controls were easy to learn. I got right into it. It was fun teaming up with other players, and I used to stay up literally for all-nighters all the time before I worked and had a job and all that. I used to go all out, try to make it to the top rank, just try to be the best I could at that game. And it didn't get old. It just didn't get old because it was fun. And even if you did lose, it was still fun. Like, that's the type of game that just never gets old, because it plays with global players all around the world. There's people that have different play styles. The maps rotate all the time. You can pick all these different weapons, and it is a blast. But it was just this perfect paint shooter game that I loved it so much. That is my pick for 2015. 2016 wasn't exactly a huge year for Nintendo in my eyes. I didn't really play much of anything, honestly. I mean, yeah, I probably played my old games, but I don't really have a pick for 2016. If I had to pick a game, probably Skylanders Imaginators, because I never stopped collecting the figures, which then means I obviously got that game in 2016. But other than Skylanders, I didn't see it as being a huge year for any other big games that I was looking forward to playing. 2017 was a roller coaster. That is when our beloved console, the Nintendo Switch, came out, and as a launch title with the Nintendo Switch on March 3rd, 2017, that's a date I will never forget. This amazing game also came out. I knew about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild way before the Switch even got announced. I had this friend that is a massive Zelda gamer, and he was like, oh, this game's been in development forever, they've hinted at it, and they think that it's gonna be on the NX, which at the time was what the Switch was called before it was officially announced as the Switch. My friend went on and on, he was super hyped up for it, he was excited. Me, on the other hand, we got a few days out from the Switch releasing, and I saw the Zelda title, I watched a lot of gameplay and footage of it, and I was like, nah. Which, like, to me right now, there is no way that I can see myself even thinking that. On the launch of the Switch, I ended up getting The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I took it home, tried it out, and I have now played over 300 hours of it, and I am addicted, and it is the best decision I have ever made in my whole life. So yeah, 2017 belongs to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild in my book. 2018 would have to be Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, because it's the biggest Smash Bros. Game ever. With all the characters that got announced, there was so much hype for it. Nintendo started doing all of the live streams about it, Nintendo Directs, and it was just becoming such a big talked about game. Super Smash Bros. Was always a big game. I mean, even on the Wii, I used to play Super Smash Bros. Brawl all the time with my friends, and just knock them off the stage and use items and go crazy and just have a blast. It really was those games that you play with your friends and you have the best memories about that make it onto this kind of list. So Super Smash Bros. Was definitely one of those. And when Super Smash Bros. Ultimate came out, I made the decision to go ahead and wait outside of Best Buy for 17 hours in the freezing cold. By the end of the night, I was frozen, my lips were purple, and I wanted to go home. But I was first in line, and I made a pretty good vlog, so I think it was worth it. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate takes my pick for 2018. And last but not least, 2019, what you've all been waiting for. There was a lot of great games this year. This was kind of a hard choice, but I had to go with Luigi's Mansion 3. We actually just finished all of the gameplays of Luigi's Mansion 3. Back on the 3DS, my first Luigi's Mansion game was Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, and the storyline was amazing. Everything about it was so cool, with catching the ghosts and being sent on these missions, and I loved it. So when Luigi's Mansion 3 came out, now from it being a hotel versus a mansion, and every floor having its specific theme, and the boss fights being fun, and the concept with Luigi being a blast, and really the whole game is so memorable that it's not too hard, it's not too easy. Such a great Luigi's Mansion game. I would definitely give this the spot for 2019. But yeah, for sure, remember what I said. Leave your comments down in the comments below. Let me know what is your game choices for all of the years of this decade. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a thumbs up. If you're new here, be sure to smash that subscribe button and share this video with some friends. Tomorrow, I do want to let you guys know that every December 31st, I put out a year in review, which pretty much recaps everything that's happened that past year. So please be sure to stay tuned for that. You're not going to want to miss that one. Those are my favorite videos every single year. And then after that, it's going to be 2020, and that's when the madness will start all over again. So stay tuned. A lot is going to be happening with this channel, and I will see you guys in the next video tomorrow. Peace!